Hello children, we are in the third chapter, Atoms and Molecules. In the first video, we learned about laws of chemical combination, right? We learned that Maharishi Kannad was the first Indian philosopher to propose that matter is made up of small particles called Parmanu. And then Democritus, Greek philosopher, he named these small particles as atom. Then we learnt about laws of chemical combination. The first law, that is law of conservation of mass, it was given by Antoine Lavoisier. The law states that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. The second law was given by Joseph Proust. Okay, that is law of constant proportion. Now this law states that in a chemical compound, elements are always present in fixed proportion by mass. Example, water. So in water, hydrogen and oxygen, they are present in the ratio 1:8. Now in this video, we will learn about atoms and molecules. So before starting with atoms, let us know something about Dalton's atomic theory and who Dalton was. Now after giving the laws of chemical combination, the next problem faced by this scientist was to give appropriate explanation of these laws. Then a British chemist named John Dalton, he provided his theory about basic nature of matter. So for his theory, he picked the idea of divisibility of matter. He also took the name atom given by Democritus. And Dalton said that matter is made up of small particles called atom. His theory also explained about laws of chemical combination. And his theory is called as Dalton's atomic theory. So this Dalton's atomic theory, it provides an explanation of law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Now before starting with the theory, let us know more about John Dalton. Who was John Dalton? So John Dalton was born in the year 1766 in England in a poor weaver's family. He was so poor that he started his career as a teacher at the age of 12. And 7 years later, he became a school principal. Then, in the year 1793, he left for Manchester to teach mathematics, chemistry and physics in a college. So over there, he spent most of the time teaching and researching. And then in the year 1808, he presented his atomic theory. And this theory was the turning point in the study of matter. So let us start with the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Postulates means assumptions. So the first postulate, all matter is made up of very tiny particles called atom. So Dalton said that all matter, whether it is mixture, element or compound, everything is made up of small particles called atom. Second postulate, atoms are indivisible particles. It means you cannot divide an atom. He also said that atoms cannot be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. So in a chemical reaction, there is only rearrangement of atoms taking place. Third postulate, atoms of a given element. Okay, atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical properties. Okay, over here I have an example of gold. Gold element is made up of gold atoms. So all these gold atoms will have same mass and same chemical properties. Carbon, okay, carbon element is made up of carbon atoms. So all the carbon atoms will have same mass and chemical properties. The next postulate, atoms of a different elements have different masses and chemical properties. So here I have two elements. I have copper and gold. They both are different elements. Gold is made up of gold atoms and copper is made up of copper atoms. So the atoms of copper and atoms of gold, they will have different mass and chemical properties. It will not be same. Okay, so different elements have different mass and chemical properties. The next postulate, atoms combine in the ratio of small whole numbers to form compound. Example, water. Water is a compound. It is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, and the hydrogen and oxygen, they combine in the ratio 1:8. So always the atoms, they will combine in whole numbers only, that is 1 and 8. You will not find half or 3/4 numbers. It will always be whole number. Next postulate, the relative number and kinds of atom are constant in a given compound. Okay, again example, water. Now, water is made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. So for water, we have two hydrogens combined to one oxygen. So this number, that is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, it will remain constant. Okay, so the number of atoms will always be constant for a particular compound. So these are the postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. But Dalton's theory was a failure. Why? Because there are certain points in the theory which was proved later, okay, which was discovered later, and because of that reason his theory was a failure. So let us check out which are those points. Okay, that is drawbacks of Dalton's atomic theory. The first drawback is atoms are indivisible. Dalton said that atoms are indivisible, but later it was proved that atoms are not indivisible, they are divisible. Atoms are still made of smaller particles, that is electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so the first point, atoms are divisible. It is atoms are themselves made up of three smaller particles, electrons, protons and neutrons, which you will study in the 4th chapter in detail about electrons, protons and neutrons. The second drawback, atoms of same element are identical in masses. So Dalton said that atoms of same element, they have same masses, but even that was proved wrong, because we have chlorine element. Chlorine element has two masses. One is chlorine 35, another is chlorine 37. They are called as isotopes, and these isotopes you will learn more in detail in the fourth chapter. So even this point was proved to be wrong. The third point, atoms of different elements have different masses. So Dalton said that different elements will have different elements. But even that was proved to be wrong. Example, argon and calcium. Argon and calcium, they both are different elements, but they have same mass, that is 40 units. Okay, so these are all, because of these points, Dalton's atomic theory was a failure. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is Dalton's atomic theory. Now we will come to atom. Okay, you must have seen a building. Okay, a building, it has room. Okay, a collection of room forms a building, and room is made up of wall, and walls are made up of bricks. Okay, so you can say that a brick is made up of, a building is made up of bricks. So I can conclude that bricks are the building blocks of a building. If we take example of anthill, anthill is made up of sand grains. So I can say that sand grains are the building blocks of the ant. Matter, matter is made up of small particles called atom. Okay, so I can say that atoms are the building blocks of matter. Okay, let us find out how small are these atoms, or how big are these atoms. Now atoms are very small. Atoms are very small. They are smaller than anything we can imagine or compare with. They are so small that we cannot see them even with a high power microscope. But through modern techniques, we have a microscope called scanning tunneling microscope, STM. Okay, this microscope, it provides a magnified image of the atoms that are present on the surface of an element. Now in this picture you can see this image is of silicon, okay, surface of silicon. Now these are all atoms that are present on the surface of silicon. You can see it, the surface of the silicon, it is made up of millions and millions of atoms. But still we are not able to view an individual atom, because even with the help of a high power microscope, we cannot view a single or an individual atom. What you can see over, you can see it's only blurred spheres. Okay, atoms, they're spherical, so the image is not clear. Now consider a paper, okay, a sheet of paper. Consider the edge of the paper. Okay, even that edge of the paper contains millions and millions of atoms. Now, what is the size of the atom? How to measure the size of atom? Okay, the size of atom is indicated by its radius, because it's spherical. So the size of atom is indicated by its radius, and that is called as atomic radius. Atomic radius is measured in nanometers. So 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. Now if the atoms are so small, okay, if they're so small, then why do we care about them? Why is it affecting us? Because the entire world is made up of atoms. That is the reason we are so concerned about atoms. Now we have seen the size of atoms. They are so small. Now do these small atoms have mass? So the answer is yes, atoms do have mass. And this mass we will study in the next video. I hope children you have understood Dalton's atomic theory and introduction of atom. Thank you.